All right, next I want to take a look at some of the fantasy football dilemmas you might have during your draft. I'm going to start with the sixth pick of the draft, one of those spots in the draft that you can go a number of different directions. Certainly Adrian Peterson, Arian Foster, and Doug Martin will be gone. There's a likelihood that someone like Jamel Charles and C.J. Spiller will be gone as well. So who do you take in that sixth spot? You got guys like Calvin Johnson at wide receiver. He's probably around that spot, anywhere from 5 to 8 is where he's probably going to go. You've also got guys like LaShawn McCoy, Ray Rice, and some other guys like that as far as the running backs go, and which should you actually take? Looking at it from a couple of different perspectives, I personally would go with someone like a LaShawn McCoy or a running back in general over Calvin Johnson in that sixth spot. It might be a little different towards 8, simply because of the lack of depth at running back in the NFL. I mean, if you take a Calvin Johnson at a spot like 6, you're really setting yourself up for a position where you are going to have a DeMarco Murray, and you're really hoping that, against hope that he stays healthy, and you're going to be taking flyers on guys like Lamar Miller of Miami, or hoping against hope that Darren McFadden stays healthy, or even taking flyers later on in guys like Danny Woodhead. And it locks in your position towards someone like even a Cam Newton as a quarterback, in that you need to try and get some fantasy rushing yards and touchdowns that way. So at a 6th spot, I personally wouldn't take a Calvin Johnson, although again you can make the case that he is so superior to every other wide receiver out there. Last year you would have been burdened by this. He had plenty of yards, but only 5 touchdowns. That certainly doesn't rack up numbers like, at the time, certainly you could have had a Doug Martin at that spot, or even a Jamel Charles, really, given some of the other options that are out there. So how I would look at a 6th spot is go running back, someone like LaShawn McCoy, who's going to catch a lot of passes and still carry the ball a lot, slightly ahead of someone like Calvin Johnson. And then someone like Ray Rice, who's going to lose even more carries, I would put even further back. So that's how I would look at an early draft dilemma at number 6. And stay tuned, I'll give you some other examples of draft dilemmas.